Welcome to your 11 plus prep session. In this video, we will tackle move a letter questions in verbal reasoning. So by the end of this video, you understand move a letter questions, you will learn how to solve them, you'll pick up quick exam tips, and you will also answer some exam style questions. Let's jump right in. All right, this is a move a letter question. Check it out. The question would likely read, in this question, one letter can be moved from the first word to the second word to make two new words. The letter must not otherwise be rearranged, and both new words must make sense. Find the letter that moves and then shade that in your paper. So pause the video here and see if you can have a go. I hope you got some answers correct, but let's just go into some of the techniques that I've actually used to solve these questions. I think the first step you probably would have used is to look at the first word, remove one letter each from the first word until you actually find a word that makes sense. So for example, if you remove P from pound, you get ound, which doesn't make sense. If you remove O, you also not get a good word. But if you remove U, then you will get a real word, pond. You might keep going just to see if you have other possibilities, but I personally would stop here and then test it with the new word. Okay. Next, after you have narrowed the word down to pond, you now know that the letter that you are actually going to have is U. So naturally, you're going to now apply U into the other word, the second word, in this case, all. So if you add U to all, you could try placing it in different positions until you find a word that you're familiar with. For example, in this case, hour. And you also notice that the other words don't actually make any sense. So or is not a real word, and or is not a real word, but hour is a real word. Perfect. You've now found your actual answer. So because you came out of pound, you has to be the one you tested. Entered it into our or, you made hour. So now you have two new words from pound and or, which are pond and hour. So the correct answer is indeed you. Okay, now let's check our answers to the rest of the puzzle. So the first one was obviously U, which the new words are pound and hour. The next one is T. If you remove T from metal, you will get male, and if you remove and if you add T to though, you will get thought. The one after that is R. If you remove R from liner, you will get but you. If you remove R from liner, you will get line, and if you add R to bother, you will get brother. Have a look at these ones and see if you can actually have a go on these yourself. And we will be looking at tips of how to get this much quicker, much faster, moving after you've had a go. Okay, so here is your exam tip. If the first word has two consonants side by side or two vowels side by side, start trying with those letters first. Start removing one of those letters. They would likely lead to a new word. Now, if you remove a consonant from the first word and the second word has two vowels side by side, then try adding the consonant in between them. It often will create a new word. And if you removed a vowel from the first word and the second word has two consonants, try adding it in between those consonants and you might actually see you have a valid word. Okay, let's take these two words, for example. These were the two first questions, replay and raid. Replay has two consonants in between. If I start here and I remove play, P from replay, replay, if I remove P from replay, I have relay left. That's a valid word. If I remove L from replay, I also have another valid word, repay. Now, if I plop P in between my vowel consonants, I have rapid, which is a real word. But if I actually plop L into it, I don't have a valid word. That is rallied, which is not a valid word. So therefore, the answer to this is P. So P taken from replay would form relay, and P added to raid would form repaid. Have a go at the next two words and see if you can use the technique for yourself. It may not always work. Which cluster did you use? So guild, I would have used UI, would have given me a nice good U there, and I would have plunked it in between B and T in debt, and that would have given me debit. Now, this technique does not work for the last one, in which case I would have gone back to my original technique of removing the words one at a time to see which one actually forms a word. And if I had started at the beginning, voila, I wouldn't have had to go through the whole words. I would have found that aunt makes a real word is now next finding where to put it in Ford. So the new words formed will be aunt and forge. Now, have a go at these three and see if you can do them yourself. Pause the video here if you need more time. Right, let's check out some of your answers. So if you remove K from Spark, you would get SPA, and add it to lined and you would get linked. If you had chosen N from blend, again using those consonant clusters, you would have gotten bled, and then added it to Cora, you would have gotten corner. And the last one, O, again, you have your vowel cluster there, and remove that O and added it to your new word, the second word, Kurt, and you would have gotten court. Now, here are some exam style questions. Pause this video here and have a go and see if you can work it out yourself. Right. So if you had said removed I, again, one of those consonant clusters there, vowel clusters, removing one vowel there would have given you the answer I, and then plug it in pant, and you would have gotten paint. So the new words would be based and paint. I have my consonant cluster here. So having a go, you can pause the video here. I've given you a hint. Have a go and see if you can figure out the right answer. Well done. If you came up with chop and team, that would be indeed the correct answer. And the last one, you have a go at this yourself. Pause the video if you must. If you came up with removing L to make a player, again, that was a consonant cluster, even though it was at the beginning, still a consonant cluster there. Removing L and adding it to fight would have given you flight. So your new words would be pair and flight. All right, well done today for that. I hope that you've learned something new today. Let's go through some vocabulary that you may not have be familiar with. So you can add these to your personal dictionary, and I talk about personal dictionary on the video if you want to know what that is. But if otherwise, here we go. Some of the words that I've picked today is guild. So a guild is to cover, to gild is a verb. To gild is to cover something with gold or make it very fancy. Something like buffing up in today's world. Okay. So the next word is debut. To debut is to appear in public for the first time. A forge is a deep sea in between cliffs. So inside the ocean, there could be like really, really big mountains and stuff. So you have like that actually comes right all the way up. So right at the top, it looks like two cliffs, and in the middle, that's the water there is called a ford. Avid means excited and interested, and bias means an unfair, one-sided way of looking at things. Right, that's the end of today's video. Don't forget your 3 P's: practice, always prepare, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.